Desenvolvimento Pessoal Espiritual.
The practices of inner refuge, which means abiding, connecting with that unbounded space through the stillness of the body, through connecting with that infinite awareness, through the silence of the speech, to connecting with that warmth, through spaciousness of the mind. When we do that practice in formal situations in our everyday life, that practice is both a deep personal development or personal psychological work and the deep spiritual work. It combines both very deeply together. And I think that is a very, very important to understand, because whatever we're trying to do, in the end, it feels very clear that we are trying to really grow. We're trying to clear things out in our life. We are trying to reconnect with a certain quality or potentiality, certain strength in ourselves, and we're trying to kind of live our life as much as through this possible. So somehow our interest is very clear that the personal development, spiritual development, both is the key of the life. But somehow when people are, like sometimes there's a sense of different viewpoints about, like, people who are in a Buddhism. It's not only saying Buddhism, but any sense of spiritual path. It's sometimes people avoid their real life or real issues that they have to deal with to go and this kind of nice yoga and meditation and just dropping things out in life, not dealing with things. So there's opinion there, and partly I agree, partly I don't. There might be people who really do that. There might be people who really don't do that. People are really working on themselves. So the question is, of course, it's also a question of how psychological or what kind of psychological work you really need to do in order to have personal development, psychological development, and what very typical Western mainstream psychology believes as analysis of those. For sure I don't believe in that particular approach, but the kind of psychological work is absolutely necessary. There's no way to achieve enlightenment unless you do a psychological work. And particularly like in the principle of the Dzogchen, there's no way to achieve enlightenment unless you take care of your psychological issues. But the way you take care of psychological issue does not mean using kind of same weak tools to trying to clear a weak confusions. That trying to connect with a place which is unbounded, not bounded with conditions, concept, conflicts, weakness. It's the inner wisdom a tool. That is what is very much believed in here. And then we're talking about the infinite awareness, the deep awareness that we have inside, our self-awareness that we have in ourselves, non-conceptual awareness that we are ourselves, non-dual awareness that we have in ourselves. These awareness are the main key, not this. An analytical mind is the main key. Analytical mind has no clarity as much as this deep awareness has. So do you use the analytical mind? Do you use the awareness? There's no question or no doubt about it, the differences between two. So here approach is very much using that non-conceptual awareness. So every day in our life, when anybody is familiar with the notion of inner refuge, when we go into that place, it's both psychological and spiritual work. So how does that applies as a psychological work? Psychological work is when somebody is actually psychologically challenged, right? So somebody is going through a deep psychological challenge or a deep emotional challenge in their life. So how do you deal with that emotional challenge or that psychological challenge? Not by analyzing it, by naked awareness, hosting that, seeing its nakedness, and dissolving in that unbounded space. It's kind of shortcut way of trying to clearing that. So not only you clear that, but you also find the awareness there. Not only you find the awareness there, you find some inner quality through that awareness. You don't only find inner quality through that awareness, you are becoming a familiar and cultivating those qualities. You're not only cultivating those qualities, you are manifesting those qualities in your life through your body, speech, and mind, what we call enlightened actions. So these enlightened actions are very much a positive action, but not only in terms of the action is a positive, but the intention, the source, the awareness, everything, it's positive. A sense that is coming from unbounded space, that is coming from lit up by that awareness, that is cultivated through that warmth, and there is manifesting in those actions. That is called enlightenment. So if you, as a practitioner, able to witness that you clearly able to overcome psychological challenge with the practice of Dzogchen, practice of the inner refuge, practice of that stillness, silence, spaciousness, then that's it. That's psychological work. That's called psychological work. For me, psychological work, that's what I mean by psychological. Some real, concrete psychological, emotional issue which interferes your life. They come uninvitedly, they occupy unconsciously, they mess up your life. If you have a tool, practices which clears that is psychological work. Spiritual work is not in the cessation of those conflicts. What you gain a recognition of self. You find that inner refuge, you find that space. Knowing that space is a spiritual work. Knowing yourself is a spiritual work. Connecting with that light is a spiritual work. Radiating that light is a spiritual work. Feeling those warmth inside, the kindness, compassion, equanimity, joy, these qualities, being conscious of these qualities is a spiritual work. Radiating through those spiritual qualities to others is a spiritual work. Living life through those qualities is a spiritual work. You work until it really becomes a part of your life. Not just on the cushion, but it becomes a part of your life. You breathe through it. You talk through it, you think through it, you view world through it, you interact with people through it. You hear people through it, you connect with the people through it, you respond to people through it. That is a spiritual work. So some sense of, I think it's very important to recognize that it's a both. And a both, not only a both, let's say, not only a both, the best of both. Because what could be better than in terms of all the vehicles, like if you look in the Burn and the Buddhist traditions, when it says Dzogchen is the highest way. What is Dzogchen? Is the self-recognition. Finding that unbounded space, infinite awareness, warmth, there's no higher path than that. So if you are practicing in everyday life, having many moments of glimpse of access and experiences and connection to that inner wisdom, so what is better spiritual work than that? There is nothing better than that.
Para informação sobre outros eventos no Serenity Ridge ou sobre o cronograma dos ensinamentos de Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche ao redor do mundo, visite-nos neste site.